What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Lion, and in today's video, ladies, I want to talk to you about 6 feminine traits or habits that men find wildly attractive. All of the things that I'm going to be talking about today are not things that you are just born with, but rather things that you can start very simply, if I might add, start implementing into your life and with your interactions with men starting today. So without further ado, let's just dive right into this video. We do have a lot to cover. This might be a little bit of a longer video since there is quite a few things that I want to talk about. So if you need to take a bathroom break real quick or maybe grab a snack, press the pause button right now, come back and continue watching this video. You do want to watch this all the way till the end. Now, one quick thing that I forgot to mention before I dive into the list is the fact that this list of feminine traits and habits is so amazing because men don't even realize that you are doing it. Men don't realize that they are even attracted to these things. We just feel like that masculine energy really picks up when you double down and when you exhibit these feminine traits and habits. So let's get right into it. The first one on the list today, and this one is extremely true for me personally, is when you give men mini tiny missions. Right, let me tell you what I mean by that. So it doesn't have to be this big thing that you're asking him to do, but rather these very tiny things that you are just kind of hinting that he might want to do for you without asking him directly. So for example, it could be simple things like maybe you're craving a very specific type of food, maybe a very specific flavor of ice cream. Right, I'll give you a personal example. At some point I was working in a certain place, in a certain office, and there was a sushi shop not too far from where I worked. And that sushi shop was very, very well known. And at some point, I was talking to the person I was dating at the time, and she mentioned how she, really heard some amazing things about that sushi place and how they have a specific type of sushi that she really, really wanted. She traveled to Japan before, and she heard that they have the same type of stuff that she had there. Right? I didn't really know what she's talking about. I'm really not a huge fan of sushi myself personally, but that was a mini mission for me. That was something that at this point, as soon as she mentioned it, and again, she didn't have to go out and directly say, hey, could you please pick some up on your way back from work someday? Or could you please, bring me to that restaurant or anything like that? She just mentioned that she has heard good things. And to me, that was way more than enough in order for that masculine energy to really pick up and want to do this thing for her. Again, the reason why men find this so attractive is specifically because she did not have to just go out and ask me directly. The fact that she just hinted it made me feel like I took initiative, made me feel like I came in to the rescue, made me feel like I could just do this for her and surprise her. All right, this conveniently brings us to the second trait and habit that feminine women really, really do a lot, and that is to complement our masculine traits. So, for example, if you're dating someone who is decisive, right? Someone that, let's say, decides what you're going to eat for dinner very quickly, right? Not someone that just goes, oh, I don't know what to do, or someone that really finds out some sort of a solution to every problem that you guys are facing individually or as a couple, right? The fact that you would just go out of your way sometimes and just verbalize it and say, hey, you know what? I really love the fact that you are so decisive. Again, it doesn't have to be these big, grand things. It could be something as simple as you really decide quickly on what we're going to have for dinner, right? But the fact that you would compliment him on these things specifically would really make him feel way more masculine. And again, that is very, very attractive to us, the fact that you appreciate that masculinity that we have. So again, complimenting things like the fact that he's very decisive, or maybe that he's a problem solver and he solves, solutions all the time. I remember there was one time specifically, and I don't know, for some reason, it just like marked in my memory, but I was dating someone at some point. And I remember we were going on the road, and I think I was speeding a little bit. We were getting pulled over by the police, and the police showed up and, I had a conversation with the police officer, and we're going back and forth and, this and that. And actually I realized that this is someone that I knew, not directly, but through another friend. And eventually that person just gave us a warning and let us go. And the person I was with, my girlfriend at the time, really looked at me and said, you know what, as soon as I saw that the police were going to stop us, I knew for a fact that you were going to get out of this situation. I knew for a fact that you were not going to get a ticket. I just love the fact that you are always, going to find a way to connect with the person and really get yourself out of these situations. I don't know why, but for some reason, just her saying that meant so much to me. It almost felt like, when your parents tell you that they're proud of you or something like that, that's how I felt. I really felt that I was that really big masculine man, you know what I mean, that she's really attracted to. And that made me way more attracted to her at the time. So yeah, when you compliment these tiny things that makes masculine men, we are extremely attracted to that. And again, that even makes us even more attracted to you and makes us see you even more so as that feminine woman because you appreciate these things. Number 3, masculine men really appreciate it when you ladies embrace your feminine, nurturing energy. Again, most of these things on this list are very, very simple habits that you can adapt starting tomorrow or starting even today, right? So I'm not talking about these grandiose things. You don't need to become like a nurse or a doctor for us to see you as this nurturing, feminine woman, but rather if you do simple things like, for example, if you see your guy, right, shaving in the morning and he cut himself, and you just brush to his aid for a second, even if it's not a really big deal, and you could have just simply say, oh, I think there are some tissues, in the drawer or something. The fact that you would go grab them and you would like tap his, to make sure that he's not bleeding, or that you would put a Band-Aid on him, or, like just taking care of these little tiny things would make us extremely, extremely attracted to you. Again, it's not necessarily because we really need you to help us, but the fact that you do, even though it's like this small, tiny thing, really makes us attracted to you. It really embraces and it really highlights your feminine energy. And it really, again, allows us to be that masculine man. If you can see a common trend right throughout this entire list is the fact that in that sense, opposites do attract. That masculine energy is really attracted to that feminine energy. It's like the yin and the yang. The fact that we would see the feminine energy would make us double down and want to give more of that masculine energy to you, which you already are attracted to. So it's not things that you have to do at the sacrifice of your own wants, needs, or whatever. These things that you would do in order to get more of what you want as well. So all of that entire list really does go both ways. Number 4, and this one really goes double time if you are at the early stages of your relationship, if you are at the dating stages, if you are just starting to really get to know one another, right? But the feminine habit or trait that men really, really appreciate is when you ladies maintain a little mystery at these early stages. This might be to a certain extent true for both men and women, but maintaining a little mystery means that you listen more than you speak, that you don't rush to reveal everything about yourself at these early stages. Your desires, your intentions, your wants, your needs, all of these things, that you maintain a little mystery. You maintain and you allow the other person to wonder about you a little bit, to kind of not know where this is going a little bit. This is what makes things exciting. This is what makes things really romantic. This is what really allows us and pushes us really to invest even further, right? Because we want to discover, we want to peel you one layer at a time. We want to, take the time to really savor this dating process as we're getting to know you, which again, just makes things a lot more attractive to us and a lot more, interesting, right? And again, if you're listening to this and you're like, no, I just want to know right off the bat, this is not just a male versus female thing. Both men and women want to or find mystery attractive at these early stages, right? The fact that things are interesting to us is because we don't know how things are going to end. That's what makes things interesting. That's what makes a movie interesting. That's what makes life interesting. And that's what definitely makes dating interesting. All right, the 5th feminine habit that men find wildly attractive is when you ladies are open to receiving help. Ladies, I just want to say right off the bat, men are not intimidated by successful, strong women, right? And there's nothing wrong with being self-sufficient, with being successful, and with being able to take care of yourself. If anything, most men, by far most men, are attracted to women who are able to take care of themselves and don't really need the help. However, men, especially masculine men, the type of guys that I bet you're trying to attract into your life, really, really appreciate the fact that you are open to receiving help and you are also grateful that they are helping you. You see, the number one thing that really makes men masculine is the fact that we want to be useful. We want to be useful to society. We want to be useful to our families. We want to be useful, definitely to the women that we are dating and the women that we are in a relationship with. That's what makes us more than anything else feel masculine. So the fact that you would be open, that you would allow us, even if we know for a fact that you don't really need the help, but the fact that you would pass me that jar of pickles, even though I know you probably can open it by yourself. Now, before I move forward, I just also wanted to mention, don't overdo it. This does not mean that you just have to ask him to do everything for you. Don't overdo it, but at the same time, especially if he offers your help, be grateful and be open to receiving help. Again, even if sometimes you feel like you got it all by yourself. All right, this brings us to number 6, the last item on our list today. So if you're still here, give yourself a gold star on the shoulder. You deserved it, because this one you really want to hear about. This one is something that's very easy to implement and apply into your life and to your interactions with men, but I feel like most women go really wrong with that. And that is being playful with men. When I say playful, I don't necessarily mean like, being drunk at a party and loud and, there's a time and place for that as well, I'm guessing. But what I really, really mean is just being able to find something to be hilarious while you're standing in line at the post office or a coffee shop, right? Being able to, give your coworker a little look when a customer walks in with a weird haircut or something, right? Just being able to make the guy you're with feel that you trust him enough to really let your hair down around him, to really be playful, to really have fun, to really let your guard down. When I say guard down, by the way, I don't mean like drop your boundaries, but I mean being able to really have fun and enjoy and laugh, right? And just enjoy your company with that person. Right? That playful energy is going to make us feel even more so, right? That we want to double down on that masculine energy in your presence. We have that serious masculine energy, right? And you would bring in that playfulness to the mix. And the fact that we would feel like, you trust us enough to be that way around us is, again, something that most men, if not all men, find wildly attractive. Ladies, before you go, let me know in the comments which of these traits while watching this video has made you go, oh yeah, I remember that one time. Okay, now that explains it. I understand why he was so attracted to me when I did or said this and that. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you aren't already. I'll see you guys in my next video.